What type of license do you hold?
It's regulated by the state of Florida.
What is the risk of dealing with a private investigator, doing private investigation without a license?
I always recommend a minimum of hours because I need to be able to provide my client a very strong case if we go to court.
The network of people around you in law enforcement that can facilitate an investigation.
I have direct phone number of federal agent, FBI, DEA, ICE, FDA. Today we're going to take a question from the audience regarding general question about private investigation.
Yes.
Okay? So
yeah, absolutely.
I like that. Everything that touch private investigation, private investigator, I love to answer the question as much as I can. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people want to know a little bit more about you and your background, and also the legality of your process that you have as an investigator. For example, I have this guy from Miami who is asking, what type of license do you hold? And how long have you been working as a private investigator in Florida?
Okay, yeah, sure. So let's start with what kind of license do you need to be a private investigator? Florida, it's regulated by the state to be a private investigator. It's regulated. The license is regulated by the state of Florida. More specifically from the Department of Agriculture and Consumer. Okay, so this department regulate hunting, regulate security guard, regulate towing company, and private investigation, and firearm license. Okay, and other they have so many wildlife and other things that they are regulating. So we are regulated by the Florida Department of Agriculture. Okay, which this branch. The branch who's regulating the security companies and private investigation agency are regulated by FDLE. FDLE is Florida Law Enforcement as well. Okay. So we have a complete chapter, which is the chapter 493, which is the chapter of private investigator, that give you the guideline of what we can do, what we cannot do. And there is a handbook as well, okay, that's very educative. To become a private investigator, you need to have a minimum of 2 years of law enforcement experience, okay. You can obtain a private investigator license. You need to get a degree on the criminal injustice. Okay, so that's also give you the opportunity to get your license, but that doesn't give you any experience. Okay,
right.
The experience comes from law enforcement background, or also you can find a way to find a sponsorship. The sponsorship, it's 2 years. So you have to work 40 hours a week and for 2 years. Okay.
There is a lot of, as you've seen, there's a lot of people that are concerned. I have seen through the questions. They are concerned about so many investigators that they call themselves investigators, and they're operating from PO boxes in places where, yes, they have a license, and some of them, they don't have a license. And so can you tell the audience, our audience, what is the risk of dealing with a private investigator, doing private investigation without a license or being established?
You can be taking a lot of risks dealing with a private investigator with a license. I mean, it happens. Not everybody is very professional, unfortunately. And you have to understand that this is a very serious job. I think if I want to hire a private investigator, it's not something that I will consider to do on the phone or online, okay? This is a personal intervention.
Correct.
So I will need to meet in person with the detective or the investigator. A lot of private investigators don't even have an office. They work from home. There is I always say, lawyers, private detective, general contractor, those professions are linked to a license. Okay. So the first thing when I hire someone with a license, I'll go directly check online if the license is valid,
Correct.
if that person has a license. So for private investigator, again, you go to the Department of Agriculture website, licenses, private investigation department, and then you click, and then here you can check licenses for individual, private investigator, and agency. Okay? So
Correct.
you put the name. You can ask the private investigator his license number. Then you put the license number, and then you see if the license is active or inactive or revoked. Sometimes private investigators are losing licenses because they made a mistake. Okay? So this is very important because you put your personal information, your personal life,
Your privacy.
on somebody's hands.
Got it.
There is so many fraud.
I got another interesting question
Yeah.
here. On the scope of services, under the scope of services, I think people want to know mostly what services are you legally allowed to perform that law enforcement cannot?
Okay, I mean, law enforcement can provide a lot of work, but they have to follow protocols. Okay, protocols mean they need warrant, they need this, they need that. They cannot start a case without a probable cause. Okay, a private investigator will take a lot of different cases, so we can run background check without, a probable cause of crime, for example.
Interesting.
Okay, we can run a background check because my client called me, say, "Hey, I want to run this guy because I'm going to do business with him. I want to make sure it's the right guy." And yes, of course, he's paying me. I run the background and give it to him. A lot of information and that's we can do. Okay, we can run license plate during the process of an investigation. Like I want to know, there is a car parked in front of my office for 2 weeks, and obviously it looks like it's maybe a stolen car. So I look at the license plate, and I have a probable cause to look for this plate, and then I know what's going on. Police officer cannot do always that. They have to have a probable cause to run a license plate. They had police officer having a problem and got fired because they were running license plate because they saw this lady, she was good looking, and he wanted to get his number. Okay, so that's not appropriate. We cannot do that too, by the way, but we have different way to run database a little more.
The guys who actually go after the witnesses and they go out to ask questions are private investigators. And they go to get evidence for the attorney. Is that something that you do?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So this is criminal defense, witness location. Of course, we do that. Absolutely. We work, we get statement, we look for people, we look for witnesses during an investigation to collect evidence to help the defense of someone, or maybe the prosecution as well. I mean, it can be both ways. Okay?
So a lot of attorneys, they, especially injury attorneys, okay, they have to go to the crime scene, to the accident area to basically query or talk to the hotels that have video footage of the accident at any point. They have to hire us in order for us to be able to go and talk to them, right? Is that something that you also can provide? Okay.
We provide that. I know some lawyers firm, they have their own private investigator.
Okay.
Okay. You can be a private investigator without a license of private investigator from the state if you are hired by a lawyer.
By an attorney. Okay.
That's something that I wanted to precise for the question that happened just before.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that's also something that you can become a private and later on get your private investigation license if you can prove you have at least minimum 2 years of investigation work experience. Okay.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So the question, Garrett, I already covered something that you had in mind ahead. Okay. Now,
next question.
Yes. How do you obtain? What is off limits as far as what you can obtain, and how do you document it? I heard.
This is one question or two questions?
Well, let me break it down. Yes, it's two questions.
Yes.
How do you? Many times you have talked in the show that in order for a document that you create of evidence, in order to be admissible in court, it has to at least comply with certain amount of hours of investigation. I have heard you saying that many times. How many hours, a minimum, an investigation has to be in order for that to comply?
It depends of the case. For, more you present evidence during a lawsuit or a judgment or anything that you have to provide to the court. I'm going to give you an example. See, you go to court with an investigation report and you provide 1 page, okay, with 2 hours of surveillance. Obviously, you can get lucky in 2 hours. You can get something that's very compromising. It's great. But even then, it's not really enough because the adverse party, their lawyers, can come up with
contention.
Excuses, So when you do something one time, you make mistakes. It can happen. But when you do something 3, 4 times, 5 times, you understand? There is a pattern of negligence. Obviously, you have a case. You have a strong case. So I always recommend a minimum of hours because I need to be able to provide my client a very strong case if we go to court, okay? You won't like it if I work for you and I take 5 hours of investigation and then I say, oh, let's go to court and we're good. And then we go to court and then we got destroyed by
the opposite attorney.
By the opposite on this case. And we have a cross-exam with their lawyers and destroyers because we don't have enough evidence. It looks like a joke.
That's right.
So I always tell my client, we need minimum of 20 hours. Child custody investigation is between 20 and 60 hours investigation. And sometimes more, it depends. Every case is different. Every subject is different, okay? So we have to provide quality of discovery, all right? And it takes time.
I got a question about confidentiality, okay? Do you, as a private investigator, you have a attorney like client privilege?
Yeah, we have client privilege.
Okay.
It's part of the chapter 493 regarding private investigation. Okay, so our discovery are protected until I had the case in different cases. They try to get my discovery without my client authorization. The only way they can obtain it in court, it's if they can prove that whatever you did to obtain those information, you did it illegally. Okay, if they can prove that, they can get everything. Okay, so we don't do anything illegal, just to preserve that confidentiality for the client.
Outstanding. Okay. As far as communication with your clients, how often do you interact or communicate with them throughout an investigation?
Okay, again, it depends on the case. There is a protocol that we have to apply for safety. Sometimes we don't communicating live update to client because it can be dangerous, okay, for the subject or even for the client, okay? So like update client very often, I will say, because clients are demanding, they want to know what's going on, and they're paying for something. So I can give we have 3 ways to give an update. First is verbal, okay? Secondly, it's through our encrypted platform, investigative platform online that we are using, that I will release information as we go. They can see report, photos, videos, and any document that we collect during the investigation, that I will make it available to see for them. So this is the second one. And the third one, if they want me to provide them a complete report in writing with photos and description and exhibits and all of the, complete PDF report, which we charge an additional fee for that. Okay. Because it takes time to make this kind of report. But they have the same thing, but on the platform. And then they want to extract whatever they want. It's fine. I mean, they can upload report, photos, videos, and that's up to them. Okay, but we give 3 kind of report.
Got another question here. When you go to court, okay, do you have to obviously prepare for what you are going to testify on behalf of your client?
Yes.
That takes time, and you have to prepare for it. Do you charge an extra fee because you have to testify on behalf of the client? Or
yes, we do. Of course, we do. And actually, there is we prepare with the client lawyer. We're gonna prepare together because we're gonna have a cross exam, and then we're gonna have a cross exam as well with the adverse party. So we know how to deal with that. Hopefully,
a lot of times, someone who has experience with attorneys and they are into a lot of businesses and stuff that requires to hire a good private investigator or an attorney, they go and they ask, they tap into you not just because of your credentials. They tap into you because the network of people around you in law enforcement that can facilitate an investigation.
yes.
And so you're talking about experience. Do you think in your case, throughout the years that you've been established as a private investigator and the network that you have, it helps you to help your clients faster?
Yes, because when you have experience, there is you have experience. This is 100% benefit because you know people, you know detectives, you know investigators, you know state attorney. You start knowing lawyers, judge, and you have access to obtain meeting with police department. Easier than if you call 911. Okay, I have direct phone number of federal agent, FBI, DEA, ICE, or even FDA. Okay, because we do counterfeit trademark investigation. Right now, I'm dealing with a case, a big case on electronic cigarette counterfeit. We are going to seize over $5 million of vapes. Okay,
is that a fact?
Oh yeah. I was in the meeting yesterday with the police department, with the Miami-Dade sheriff, custom and stolen goods and all the stuff going on with the detective. So, and the Doral Police Department as well. So, I have good connection with chief of police of North Miami Beach, Doral, Miami-Dade County Sheriff, Miami-Dade Sheriff. All those things make that. Of course, we get straight to the point. We don't waste time. They listen to me. They know who I am. Bring them cases. So everything is going faster.